Royal Jet is known for the curated service that we offer. So a lot of it is about data collation, so understanding and knowing our customers. So being able to actually predict what they want. But actually, it's more than that, actually. You've got to actually talk to them on a one-to-one basis, on a regular basis, because they may have had a particular flight in a particular way, but the next flight they may want it differently. So it really is about our staff going that extra mile, recognizing what those individuals want. Whether it's the FBO experience at Abu Dhabi, we have great staff there that recognize what the individuals want, whether they're going straight through the FBO or whether they want to linger and enjoy the FBO. So we recognize those cues, but then actually most of the time they're spending on board the aircraft. So do they want to be pampered or do they want to be left alone, picking up those cues? I have some incredible stories to tell. One of the great stories I have to tell is that one of our traveler group, they actually wanted M&Ms, the peanut M&Ms on board the aircraft. We organized it. On the other extreme, we've upgraded our caviar, in fact, very recently, and the feedback we're getting is phenomenal. So it varies depending on what the customer is. But because of the nature of what these travelers are doing and why they're traveling, that's really important to recognize them as individuals. So that's a great question, actually. So we have world leading KA band on board our aircraft, which gives us great connectivity. Now, you may hear of other systems, terrestrial-based systems or low Earth orbiting satellites, which have much better bandwidth. But our bandwidth is very, very respectable. We're up in the 70 megabytes per second, which is enough to stream movies. But actually, what I really enjoy about our internet is that when you're traveling anywhere in the world, because it's a satellite-based internet provider, there are no black spots. Whereas with some of the LEO systems, which have great bandwidth, they do, but they do have black spots. So a lot of South America, places in South America, you won't get bandwidth in China, Russia, and so many other places. But with us, you'll have bandwidth everywhere, which is great. So obviously the onboard entertainment is really important. I mentioned catering in my previous example, but actually other things that we're working on is actually the product on board and how we deliver that in terms of all the amenities, in terms of how we're supporting the service that we provide. But actually, looking forward is we placed an order for 3 Airbus ACJs. Uh, when we get to those, it'll be an amazing product. So we have a great relationship with Airbus, and it's been really good in the sense that if you now go to Airbus and try and order an aircraft, you're talking 6, 7 years before you'll see your aircraft. We placed our order in November, December of last year. And in actual fact, we will see what I call the green aircraft in Q2 2026. So approximately 15 months from now, we will see the green aircraft. It then does need to go away for interior refurbishment, completion. That will take another 18 months. But inshallah, we should expect to see the first Airbus aircraft arrive in January. But the fun part of this story is actually now. So we are designing an aircraft that will only arrive with us in about 2.5 years. So we're predicting the future of what that experience and that service will look like. So nearer the time, we'll tell you much more about it, but it should be super exciting and it will be leapfrogging us into the future. We are proudly a UAE company and proudly based in Abu Dhabi. So some of the brand of Abu Dhabi is about being sophisticated, elegant, but timeless. So you look at those 3 words, they give us a great basis of what we're going to design our aircraft for. None of that means that we can't be contemporary. So I mentioned internet before, but we should have better internet speeds by then. We should have multiple platforms that we'll be looking at. But we're actually going to build capability that is future-proof as much as we can, at least for the next 10 years after delivery. So whatever product, whether it's from people using their own Netflix accounts or having great access internet speed to access those things, that's what we want to put on board the aircraft to curate that service. Oh, that's in aviation there's one non-negotiable for everybody, and anybody that's not playing at that platform should not play. So that's safety and quality. That is what we live and breathe by. That's built in our DNA, in the company's DNA. This is not up for grabs. The ultimate customer service is getting from A to B. But actually, beyond that is there's a great feature that Royal Jet offer is we believe passionately in the confidentiality of our consumers. So a great example is you look at our social media. There are no social media stories of our passengers. That is protected. What you'll see is the marketing that we provide or the seats or product that we offer. But for our customers, it's really important that they have a confidential, have integrity in how we operate, and they can enjoy themselves on the flight and do what they want. That's really important for us, right? That's a really potent question, actually, and we're seeing that already. So amongst our clientele, we have clientele not only in this region, that's our core clientele with the members of the government and the royal family and VVIP customers, but we also have customers in Africa, all the way across Asia and parts of Europe and America, in fact. But if you draw an ellipse around Abu Dhabi, that's all of our stomping ground, if you like. That's where we have a lot of clientele. So you look at the demography of that, it's changing. We do have the older guys, we have the kind of captains of industry, well accomplished people, but there are the up and coming people. So we're seeing that, obviously communication is really important. So I mentioned internet, I think that's a product. But actually beyond that is, you look at our own technology platforms, whether you're on an Android phone or an Apple phone, is how often those platforms get upgraded. So if you take that, it's about building in upgradable platforms to an aircraft that will do 20, 25 years service with us. So upgradability is really profound for us, and that'll be for the future for the next generation. I think also is actually designing for the future. The interior needs to look and appeal to the younger generation. So that's not just about being funky because we have a wide spread of audience. It's about relating to what they want, about giving them comfort, giving them ability to entertain themselves or work or relax or whatever it is they want to do, is putting that on board the aircraft for that period of time. There's a big difference in our clientele versus some of the legacy airline premium customers. Those customers are going through on a schedule and they're going through different airports. They're processing themselves. Our people don't. They're flying into locations where time is really of the essence. There's a turnaround meeting to broker some peace deal, or some geopolitical issue that's going on, or perhaps even, just, attending meetings in those locations for business. All of those need to be put in. So when you look at that, their onboard time is incredibly critical. So we've got to make it useful for them and beneficial to what they want. So that'll be for the future for us. Thank you very much. Thank you.